regime, does deny from the German? Oh yes.
Please be seated. The sitting is open.
The only solution consistent with international law is for this illegal occupation to come to an immediate, unconditional, and total end. As you affirmed 20 years ago, the Palestinian people have the right to self-determination. It is an erga omnes right. It is non-negotiable, non-derogable. No occupying power, including Israel, can be granted a perpetual veto over the rights of the people it occupies. Legal consequences that follow from Israel's grave and ongoing violations. The genocide underway in Gaza is a result of decades of impunity and inaction. Ending Israel's impunity is a moral, political, and legal imperative. Successive Israeli governments have given the Palestinian people only three options: displacement, subjugation, or death. These are the choices: ethnic cleansing, apartheid, or genocide. And universities, cinemas, and cultural halls. Mr. President, members of the court, the State of Palestine reaffirms its unwavering commitment to the rule of international law, which must finally prevail. The force of the law must prevail over the unlawful use of force. We said years ago that we made a choice: justice, not vengeance. But justice delayed is justice denied. And the Palestinian people have been denied justice for far too long. Of these words, they should instead be outraged by the families, communities, as a nation. That
even though the verdict or the advisory opinion is not going to be binding, it's going to weigh very heavily when it comes to jurisdictional, but also morally. And I think what we see now with the world and the opinion of the citizens of the world shifting and the political movement that's going on now, I think that finally it might carry some weight and that sanctions will be made by other states. Yeah.
As shown in the second map, with the Nakba that ensued, over 2/3 of our people were systematically and forcibly expelled by Israel. There is no safe haven. It means discrimination, both colonialism and apartheid. There are those who...
We need, well, first of all, ceasefire to just stop further killing, further atrocities, and then honest, steps, clear steps towards justice and an end to the occupation.
I'm very happy about this. Second, the question...
Palestine will be free!
ethnic cleansing, apartheid, or genocide. Today marks the start of historic proceedings at the International Court of Justice. The entirety of Israel's colonial occupation regime is on trial today. Not just the apartheid, colonization and persecution by which it is brutally imposing it on the Palestinian people. An unprecedented number of countries are participating in the proceedings, taking a stand for justice and peace. This is a clear reflection of the global concerns and calls to bring an end to this abhorrent illegal regime immediately and unconditionally. The existence of this illegal colonial occupation and apartheid regime is a source of all its ills our people are suffering. Any formula that does not deal with that root cause is planting the seeds for more tragedy and aiding Israel in keeping the Palestinian people captive to its colonial agenda and illegal actions. The deliberations today are long overdue. For the Palestinian people, no less than their survival and future are at stake. Israel cannot be allowed to maintain its occupation, and its illicit plans to end Palestinian existence must be stopped. If the court declares this occupation illegal, as we expect, it will be incumbent upon states to take action pursuant to the court's ruling. This will help bring the occupation to an immediate, unconditional, and total end, and enable the Palestinian people to realize their inalienable right to self-determination and national independence in their own state alongside an Israel that is compelled to finally define its borders in compliance with international law. Court's ruling. This will help bring the occupation to an immediate and conditional end now. This ruling could help both Palestinians and Israelis to finally live side by side in peace, mutual security and dignity. Justice must rule. We will remain tireless and determined in its pursuit. Palestine and the Palestinian people are not alone in this march for justice. The proceedings that started today clearly show that. There is no justification or excuse for Israeli colonization, apartheid, and persecution of the Palestinian people. They threaten and violate our common humanity and must end now.
فشلنا في بعض الأحيان ونجحنا في بعض.
Well, not necessarily. Current hostilities, should end, soon, and that's why we are working on other fronts, in order really to see a permanent ceasefire achieved, ending to the conflict, and trying really to bring in aid into people, especially in Gaza, how to protect people in Gaza and how to prevent forced displacement in Gaza, and to see that, a deal will be reached where all also hostages will be released and prisoners too. This is very important, and that's really should really take us into another level where a political opening should, start.
Palestinian people, no less than their survival and future, are at stake.